Hello, hope all is well. So today we're going to talk about this little thing over here, the Peavey Classic 20mH. So I think this amp, ironically almost, is a great combination of sort of classic tones or that kind of direction with extremely modern features. And so by modern features, I'm yet to have an amp that has a USB port on there. And that's basically to capture audio if you want to go that route. And it also has a very handy speaker defeat switch, so you can turn off the speaker as it has an internal, I think it'd be a resistive load. And it has this speaker emulated DI out, which can come in handy. And you can also use the send and return effects loop on there if you want to add additional effects, or even just send the preamp out via the send. And for the amp tones itself, well, we have two channels, a clean channel and then, a dirty channel, shared 3-band EQ. There's a decent reverb on there as well, and you get a foot switch, which also enables you to have this extra like volume boost feature, which can be quite handy. And then you can switch between each channel, or you can also plug it into the other foot switch slot, which can select between having the reverb on and off, or the effects loop on and off. Now, something I found really cool after having this amp for a little while was just plugging straight in and just playing guitar, I guess. I mean, it wasn't a case of like, well, let's find different tones or try out all these different things. So all I did was basically pick a nice IR that I was quite familiar with, in this case an ML SoundLab Green 90, the classic IR, and just played through it. So I didn't really think about, oh yeah, let's try loads of different IRs, or let's try all these different things that I can do with the amp. So essentially, through the limitations of that front panel, I could just mess around with that and find different tones that I really liked and just play guitar. Obviously, I didn't really try it through cabs. I did try it through my 2x12 that's there. And while it sounded decent, it's not really appropriate for that kind of amp, if that makes sense. I think it'd be more at home with a different sort of speaker, as opposed to the Eminence P50Es that are in there. But those are things that I can try further down the road. Now, in terms of features that are really quite useful, like the speaker defeat, which activates the internal resistive load, you don't actually have to have a cab or a load hooked in at that point when you use that. So you could literally just put the amp on the table somewhere. You have the speaker defeat switch activated, you just turn it on, and then you can either use even the headphone out or the DI with the mic speaker simulation on out to your door, or even use, if you want, the send into your door to get certain tones with an IR. Now, the question you might be asking is, why did you buy this? Why did you get this? And the thing is, well, I have a Vox AC10 that I use for, say, pedal demos or things like that I'd want to do. And I also have my VHT, point in the right direction, my VHT that's over there. That's really, really good for especially like that, I guess, JCM 800 vibe with a twist. It can do this kind of clean, but it's not really meant for that, at least for me. And it really excels at everything between that kind of like dynamic kind of rock playing and very high gain type metal with different boosts and things like that. So I wanted something that I could, say, run pedals through and also play just clean, dirty, and basically back to basics almost. So the amp takes pedals really quite nicely, especially in the first channel. And then the second channel is something really nice for either separate edge of breakup tones and then also boosting up to get more kind of rock or hard rock kind of tones. I found for metal kind of stuff, while interesting, it didn't quite have the response that I usually like from an amp. Now this is my first foray, as it were, into like these mini lunchbox style heads, and I really appreciate the sort of flexibility that you have on something like this, especially given the sort of needs that modern guitarists might have with regards to equipment. And it's great to see this kind of, I guess, innovation, to use that buzzword, on an amp of this size, and especially at that kind of price. I did buy this used. I got this for just under 400 euros. I believe they're around, like, the newer versions are like 650 to 700 euros or so. And if you're after something with all those features, it can be a good purchase, but there are also other amps, I believe, that are around that kind of level. So depending on the sort of tones you might be after, this might be good for you. Or if you're after something that has a bit more bite and aggression, there might be other amps on the market that are more suitable. Now I do have another, well, small lunchbox head coming in soon, which is the Marshall SV20H, which I'm really looking forward to, as I've got a Gibson SG, and that kind of screams out to, like, well, plug into a Marshall, shall we say, and get the Marshall tones. So I'll be looking at that in a future video. In any case, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you got something out of this, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.